Yes, you don't do anything. So very clearly, and she was exulting, saying clearly, clear, as the woman wanted. And then she said that clearly, I'm going to forgive you. And then the rabbi said, okay, so clearly, you go to the kitchen, bring my dinner, because I'm hungry. And then when she said that, he said that, I looked at the woman to see what she was doing. And she was more furious. If before she looked like a Japanese sumo player, now she looked like a Chinese dragon, because she was like the smoke came out of her mouth. And then I was really afraid, and I said, Madam, we tried your solution, but it did not work. I said, you did not try my solution. That's not what I said. I said, Madam, you said very clearly that she had to have a clear conversation. I said, I did not say that. And I said, what did you say? She said, I said that she had to have a very clear conversation. And I said, but that's what I understood, a very clear conversation. She said, no, a very clear conversation. And I said, Matt, I don't understand anymore. You said a very clear conversation. I understood a very clear conversation, but the very clear conversation is not a very clear conversation. What conversation you want? And she said, you cannot understand me because you are a man, and men don't understand women. I said, you are right, madam. It's impossible. We can love them, but understand. It's impossible. And she said, and she started aggressive. I said, well, let's try again. Second time, let's try. It's not normal, but we are going to try. Then I asked the actress, you go there, you have the clearest conversation with him, and only after that, then you forgive him. I said, okay. And she said, come here, let's have a clear conversation. Because you clear this, clear that. It was a machine gun throwing clear conversation all over. Clear. And finally said, and clearly I'm tired, and clearly I forgive you. And he said, and clearly you go to the kitchen and bring my dinner. When I looked at the woman, she had raised. When she raised, of course, I went back. Because I was afraid of her. But when I was there, running from her, of course, I looked back and I saw that she was going away. And then I was pitying her. I said, no, madam, don't do that. We are trying our best to please you. We are trying to do what we understand by what you are saying. But we don't understand what you are saying. I said, you don't understand because you don't want. Then we start fighting again. You don't want. Yes, I want. You are a man. Yes, I'm a man. And then finally I said, look here. Why don't you do something? She was already sitting. She said, why don't you do something? Instead of explain, words. Why don't you come here on stage and show us what hell of clear conversation is that? She was already sitting. She levitated and said, may I? And I said, yes, you may. Come here. And then she came. But she came like this, half and half. She did not came directly. She came half and half. And the actor that was playing the role of the husband, he was a wonderful actor, but he was afraid. He was very tiny, man. Augusto, what shall I do? And I said, I don't know. I'm not an actor. You improvise. You know Stanislavski, improvisation. Go improvise. I say, improvise. Which book of Stanislavski? I don't mind the book, but you put your talent. Then the woman came. She passed by him. The mere wind that she made, he shaked, and then she went to the backstage. There was a broomstick. She got the broomstick, grabbed him by here, and said, now we are going to have a very clear conversation. And started hitting him. I jumped on her. She did this to me. I went back. The setting were not so strong. The setting fell down also. The other actors came, and she kept hitting him, and he kept saying, forgive me. Look, I do theater myself. I do theater for more than 50 years now, half a century. I never saw such a sincere actor when he said, forgive me. He was an enormous sincerity. And then finally, when she finished, she said, now that we have had this very clear conversation, you go to the kitchen and bring me my dinner, because would thank the applause that you gave her. And then at that moment I saw something extraordinary. I said, what's happening here? First was the anecdote. It was interesting. It was something that you can count to tell to the other people. It's nice. It's good. But there was something more important. It was a symbolic transgression that she made. Because the settings are supposed to belong to the artist. But the strength that this here has, this space here has, come from you. It's you who are giving me the strength, the force that I apparently have. I have some force, of course, but it becomes much stronger. Like an actor on stage, each actor has its own charisma, its own force, but the audience paying attention makes it much more stronger, makes him or her much more stronger. And then I understood that this transgression is a metaphor of the transgressions that we have to make in order to change society for the better. No, for instance, women in Brazil, until 1945, they did not have the right to vote. They fought very harshly, very intensely to get the right to vote. It was not because they were at home sewing and doing only kitchen that it's good that all of us should do kitchen. It's not only because of that that they got the right to vote. The blacks, they say in Brazil that the white Princess Isabel declared the freedom of the slaves. But sometimes they forgot to say that the black slaves had already founded, that was destroyed, but had founded a republic what was bigger than Spain and Portugal together in Brazil. So it was by transgressing, slavery was a law, it was moral. But we should not think about moral, we should think about ethics, which is different. Moral comes from the Latin mores, which means costumes, habits. That's the way it is. And that's the way it was. Slavery was accepted. And people said that's an acquired right. I went to the market, I paid the price, adjusted the price, and now that person, that woman, or that man belongs to me. And everyone accepted that. It was normal. Everyone understood that it was like that. So we have to look at normality, not to see if it is moral, because it is always moral. We have to see at the ethics. Ethics comes from the Greek, and it is the drive to something better. I'm not going to enter in philosophy here now, but it was a word that Aristotle used to say that we have a society has a drive to perfection. The body has a drive to perfection. Everything has inside, not as Plato said before, that there were two worlds apart, but it was inside us. So the ethos is the tendency in one way that would be better. No? So that woman doing that transgression was symbolic that we cannot change society and society stay exactly as it is. If we want to change, we have to change, and we have to make the change, not to expect them to fall from the earth. And then from that time on, we went on directing plays, but doing what we call the forum theater, which was the idea that we present the doubt, we present the uncertitude, we present the problem, but we don't present the solutions. And then we democratically, we ask the audience, what solutions can we bring to this problem? No? And then that's what the forum is. Then things changed. I went to Brazil, back to Brazil in 1986. After we had an amnesty, I took a few years more away. I stayed 16 years in exile, and then I went back to Brazil. And in Brazil, I started doing that. It was very